जो आपने कल किया था वही इंग्लिश में करो, ताकि हमारे अंग्रेजी जवानों को भी पता चले कि हमारे अकाबिर क्या थे। और ये यूट्यूब पर ऐसे वैसे ब्लॉगर वो देखकर वो इम्प्रेस ना हो कि वो सारा काम कर रहे हैं, काम तो ये कर रहे हैं। एक मैसेज आया मौलाना जुनैद इंगार साहब का, दूसरा मैसेज आया मौलाना इलियास देसाई साहब का। मैंने सोचा चलो फिर ये दो बड़े बड़े उलमा हैं, इनका मशवरा है तो फिर इंग्लिश में थोड़ा कर लेते हैं। बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम, नहमदुहु व नुसल्ली अला रसूलिहिल करीम, अम्मा बाद। क़ाल रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम, उज़्कुरू महासिन मौताकुम व कुफ़्फ़ू अन मसावीहिम। व क़ाल अलैहि सलाम, मन असनैतुम अलैहि खैरन वजबत लहुल जन्नह व मन असनैतुम अलैहि शर्रन वजबत लहुन नार। व क़ाल नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम, व इज़ा मात साहिबुकुम फदऊहु, औ कमा क़ाल अलैहि सलाम। Our akabir, ulama, sulaha, mashayikh are going one after the other. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam has prophesied this when he said, "Yadhhabu salihun al-awwal fal-awwal wa tabqa hufalatun ka hufalati ash-sha'ir la yubalihim Allahu balatan." Salihin will go one after the other, and bhusa will remain. Bhusa, shaf. When you take the grains out of the, क्या कहते हैं, shaf, तो grains जो है you make आटा with it, और वो shaf जो है you can't make आटा with it, you feed it to the sheep and the goat, तो वो भूसा रह रहेगा। अल्लाह भी फिर कहेंगे कि जाओ तुम जानो तुम्हारा काम जाने। अल्लाह won't care about them. हाय, this is why one poet said, ذهب الذين يعاش في أكنافهم بقي الذين حياتهم لا تنفع. Those among whom we used to live with great mercy and barakat have gone, and people like me are left behind whose life is worth nothing. We're not doing anything, खा पी के अपनी जिंदगी गुजार रहे हैं, और जो काम करना है वो हम नहीं कर रहे हैं। तो यहां पर भी ये सालिहीन, one after the other, their chair is empty, nobody is there to fill it up. This will happen close to Qiyamah. And in the other hadith, Allah will not take away ilm by snatching it away from the hearts of ulama. Rather, He will take one alim after another, and when an alim dies, there won't be anyone to replace him. People will make jahils their leaders, and the jahils will be asked questions, and they will give fatwa without ilm. They will go astray and lead others astray. क़यामत से पहले ऐसा होगा, उलमा रहेंगे ही नहीं, ठोस उलमा, मजबूत पुख्ता इल्म वाले उलमा, जो आपको हर सवाल का जवाब दे सके, who can answer every question, whether it's tricky question about miras, tricky question about zakat, tricky question about muamalat, masail, about talaq, about inheritance, about wasiyat, will. You know, you ask some tricky questions to some ulama, even ulama can't answer those questions. So these those pukhta ulama will go one after the other. Now, when ulama die, or our elders, or our seniors, family members, our pious people die, we should remember them, remember their khidmat, remember their qurbani and sacrifice, and try and follow in their footsteps, emulate them. One hadith said, اذكروا محاسن موتاكم وكفوا عن مساويهم. Rawahu Abu Dawud wa Tirmidhi. Mention the beauties of your deceased and hold back your tongue from their ills, from their mistakes, shortcomings. Another hadith, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam was sitting and some janaza passed by. Nabi and Sahaba said some good things about the janaza. And Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, wajabat, wajib ho gaya, incumbent, necessary. Then another janaza passed after a while, and Sahaba criticized the mayyit, said something that he had some bad habit. So Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, wajabat. Sahaba asked, what is wajabat ya Rasulullah? And he said, when you mention the good habits of someone and praise them, then Jannat is wajib for them. And when you mention some bad habit of someone, then Jahannam becomes wajib for them. Because antum shuhada'ullahi fil ard, you are the witnesses of Allah on the earth. Now this is when the person is fasiq, fajir, badmash, sharir, gunda, and there is risk of people copying, emulating him. Then we can mention their bad state. Even Quran mentioned the bad state of Abu Lahab. Tabbat yada abi lahabim wa tab. So when a good person dies, we should mention their good things. And if we talk about the good, mashallah, bahut achhe aadmi the, bahut neek, bahut namazi, bahut pious, bahut khidmat guzar, bahut sakhi, very generous, and he did a lot of good work. This is good. And farishtas say Ameen on what we say, on our du'as. Farishtas reward them. This is why we mention the good of our akabir, our elders. And from time to time, we, so when someone passes, not all the time, sometimes we keep these obituaries and talk about them. Hazrat Maulana Ghulam Vastanvi Sahab, Rahmatullah alayhi, is also among those who are up there. He is titled as Khadimul Quran and Khadimul Masajid wal Madaris. Servant of Quran and servant of Masajid and Madaris. And he is also titled Fakhr-e Gujarat. Gujarat has fakhr on him, that we produced such a great alim. Falah-e Dairain, his asatiza used to boast over him. Some asatiza said, if Allah asks me, what have you brought for me, I will say Ghulam Vastanvi. Abdullah Kapudri is reported to have said that. So asatiza had fakhr on him. Hazrat Maulana was born on the 1st of June 1950 and died on the 4th of May 2025, roughly 75 years of age. He was born in Kosari, a small village in Surat. Today, Maulana Ilyas Sahab mentioned that Hafiz Randera Sahab said to him that when Hazrat Maulana was born in Kosari, his father's house was next to the masjid. And there was a Jamaat from Markaz, Nizamuddin Tablighi Markaz. And among them was a certain sheikh called Budrug, called Mullah Munshi Allah Ditta. He was one of the Akabir Muzrugs at that time. And he said that so much noor has spread upon the wiladat of this child. I have hope that this child will spread noor around the world. ये उनकी विलादत पर ही. और हजरत मौलाना के वालिद इंतहाई नेक सालेह तहज्जुद गुजार और रात को बहुत रोने वाले. He was a farmer, simple life, leading a simple life. Farmers lead very simple life, and their earning is pure, clean, halal, no shak shubha in there. They do their kheti badi, harvest, and sell some of it, use some of it, and survive on it. And simple life. So he had a simple life, but he was tahajjud guzar. Maulana Ghulam Vastanvi Sahab mentioned in one of his bayans that I have never seen anyone crying so profusely and bitterly like a baby as my father. He would be very punctual on his tahajjud, and he's crying at night. He said when we would come from madrasa and we would get up for fajr and then sit with him for nashta, he would complain about us. I don't go tahajjud nahi padta. Tahajjud mein uthu ju mein radu ju mein, inko tahajjud padna chahiye. So my mother would say, "Ye bichara 12 wage to aa kem tahajjud nahi uthe." They came home at 12 o'clock. And how can they get up for tahajjud? He said, but no, but still they should get up for tahajjud and they should cry in front of Allah. So he says that my mother would stick up for us. But we learn from there that tahajjud is extremely important, and crying at the time of tahajjud in front of Allah is necessary. Hazrat Maulana did his hifz in Osari, and then he went for further education. First to Baroda, he studied some time there, and then to Falahi Darain in Tarkesar. And he stayed there for 8 years. And he was among the Khuddam of Maulana Abdullah Kapod Ravi Sahib. Maulana Abdullah Kapod Ravi Sahib, later on, when he was in Mishkat Dora, he would take him on, Friday, Saturday, Chutti day, when he would be going to Surat or somewhere. Maulana Ghulam Sahib would go with him. I remember Maulana Abdullah Sahib mentioning once that Mauli Ghulam, he came with me to some function. When he returned, I said to him, "Oh, Mauli Ghulam, you know that Rumal I use, I forgot it somewhere." And Maulana Ghulam Sahib, being the Khadim, said, yeah, I know. I took it. It's with me, Maulana Sahib. Barakat, leave it with me. Maulana Abdullah Sahib said, okay, keep it. Next time, it so happened after a few days or weeks, and again, same thing happened. And again, I've got it, Maulana Sahib. I said, do me tomorrow, Rumal out or two. Give me back my Rumal. And then Maulana Sahib said, you go to Surat and get me 1 dozen Rumals and come around with me. I leave them and you bring them back with you. So he was lively as well. His asatiza were also, very nice and lively with him. His asatiza in Darul were in Falahi Darain was Mufti Ahmad Bemat Sahib, Maulana Abdullah Kapod Ravi Sahib, Maulana Sher Ali Afghani Sahib, Maulana Zulfiqar Sahib. He graduated in 1972. Whilst he was studying there, he got bayat to Hazrat Sheikhul Hadith Maulana Muhammad Zakaria Sahib in 1970. Then he went to study, after graduating, he went to study to Mazahir Ulum Saharanpur, UP. Now, Mazahir Ulum Saharanpur, UP is up north. And from our Surat station to Delhi is about 24 hours journey in Janta Express train. And from there to Saharanpur is another 6 hours journey. If we travel by frontier mail, it takes about 30 to 35 hours, 32 hours, something like that. So you can imagine how far it is, and it's a struggle to get from Gujarat to Saharanpur. So I remember once Maulana Ghulam Sahib saying to me that, your father-in-law's father, meaning my wife's Dada Baji, he is the one who sent me to UP. He said, once I went to Naroli because he's among, Kosari, Naroli, Vastani is close by. So he said, we used to go Naroli and meet our elders. So I was there. And he said to me that, Ala Mauli Ghulam, Abada Mauli Abdul Rahim, Mauli Yusuf Mutala, ne bada Dewan Saharanpur gya ne, mashallah, kahin bani gaya, tu bhi jane, kahin bani jaye, tu bhi jane. And he took out a bag of money and he said, take this. Now he said, I was a poor man, I didn't have any money. And he gave me that money, and with that I went to Saharanpur. And he studied there, stayed there for 1 year. And Hafiz Shafi Sahib reminded me yesterday that whilst he was there, he used to sit in the dars of Sheikh Yunus Sahib because he studied Bukhari Sharif under Sheikh Yunus Sahib and Abu Dawud Sharif under Hazrat Maulana Aqil Sahib. So he says that I used to, go to Hazrat Sheikh. Hazrat Sheikh was still in Saharanpur. He had not migrated to the Medina Sharif. But it was, on and off, little bit. We couldn't get any chance there. But we did get chance to do khidmat of Hazrat Nazim Sahib. Maulana Sadullah Sahab, the principal. So one day I was doing malish and khidmat of him, and he said to me, Muli Ghulam, who are you bayat to? I said, I'm bayat with Hazrat Sheikh. Then he said, then why are you coming here? You should go there. He said, Hazrat, wahan to kisi ki pahunch nahi, wahan to bahut log hai, there's too much crowd there. So we can't get to him. So Hazrat Nazim Sahab said, एक मिनट कागज खत लाओ, मैं चिट्ठी लाओ, मैं चिट्ठी लिखता हूँ. He wrote a note and he said to Hazrat Sheikh, Ghulam Muhammad is like my son, and he will do your malish from tomorrow. So he called a student and said, Oi, take this note and this boy to Sheikh. So Hazrat Sheikh ke paas gaye, Hazrat Sheikh ne chitti dekhi. Hazrat Sheikh kehne lage, bhai, I don't have a habit of taking malish and massaging my hair, but because Nazim Saab's hukam, I have to let this young man do my massage. So Maulana Ghulam Saab said, "Mera to maza aa gaya." And he said, Maulana Abdul Rahim Saab, Maulana Yusuf Mutala Saab, they are all sitting there, all Tingmati, and I am doing malish of Hazrat Sheikh. So he did khidmat of Hazrat Sheikh Rahmatullah alayhi for as long as he could. And you know the incident of boar I mentioned yesterday in the bayan. That once Hazrat Sheikh Rahmatullah alayhi said, I heard this in Mufti Huzaifa Qasimi Sahab Bhiwandi's bayan, that Hafiz Zamin Shaheed Rahmatullah alayhi, you know, in Thana Bhavan, on his mazar, there are some trees of beard. You know, board. Board ko kya kahenge English mein? Pandor ke small apple. It's like cherry, but cherry is red and board is green. You get them in Barakat, and they are a little bit sweet and a little bit sticky. So this beard, Hafiz Zamin Shaheed Mazar, their beard and board are very sweet and tasty. So Hazrat Maulana Ghulam Sahab said, I heard this. So I called some student, gave him some money, and I said, hey, you must go to Hafiz Zamin Shaheed Sahab's Mazar and the tree of beard, which is there, bring lots of bag full of beard for me. So he gave him the money, sent him, the student went, and next morning he was there and he brought a bag full of those beard. And Hazrat Maulana Ghulam Sahab brought it to Hazrat, ye Hafiz Zamin Shaheed ke Mazar par se, aur wahan jo darakht hain, wahan ke beard hai. Hazrat Sheikh looked at him. I said, I was just talking casually, but you got them. Now since you got them, I have to eat them. I can't chew, my teeth are not good. So take the date stone out from there, crush some beer for me, and I will enjoy those beer. But Hazrat Maulana Ghulam Sahab said, I could feel Hazrat's tawajjuh. Because when you do some special khidmat, that's when the Sheikh's attention is attracted. So I could feel Hazrat's tawajjuh towards me. Then Hazrat Maulana, finished, graduated from there. Hazrat Sheikh also went to Medina Sharif, migrated. Maulana Ghulam Sahab stayed in touch with his Sheikh. Hazrat Maulana came back, and in 1973, after graduating from there, he stayed in Bodhan for some time, looking after the madrasa, maktab. Then Maulana Abdullah Kapodrawi Sahab told him to go to Kantharia. They are in need of a mudarris, and you have good istidad, you can teach there. So Hazrat Maulana went there, and he taught the ibtidai kutub of Farsi and mutawassitat. Then in 1979, he established Jamya Isha'atul Ulum Akkal Kuwa. Now Akkal Kuwa is right on the top, near the border of Gujarat and inside Maharashtra. Now India has state. Gujarat is a large state, and Maharashtra is another large state, and Bombay is in Maharashtra state. Then UP, Uttar Pradesh, MP, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, these are all states. So in Maharashtra, how did he get there? I heard it from him myself. He said that, the people of this area, Kalkua, they invited me for some bayan, maybe in Ramzan or something like that. And I saw there's so much bedini here. So I told them, you should have a madrasa here and educate your children. And they said, okay. I said, you provide some space for me and we'll start a madrasa. So he said, I looked around, I found some ustad. I said, you come teach here. And we found 6 children. And with 6 children, the madrasa started. So one ustad and 6 children, Hazrat Maulana arranged everything in a small jhumpada hut. And he came back to Kantaria because he was teaching, he was an ustad, but he made arrangements there. And then he kept on liaising with them, connected through letter or whatever manner. Then Hazrat Maulana noticed that we need to do something to get this further. So he resigned from Kantaria, Darul Uloom Kantaria, and he came to Akkal Kuwa, moved here. He had a small hut. The madrasa was in a small hut, and he used to live in a small hut with his wife. And he was married to Mufti Abdullah Hasoti's sister, so from Ravidra. So they moved here, and Hazrat Maulana started the madrasa. And mashallah, with his nizam and tadbir and his wisdom, he took the madrasa forward at a great speed. And he merged religious education with secular education. He noticed that our kids need to have that secular knowledge as well. And this was something which our Hazrat did over here as well. Otherwise, if you go back India, Pakistan, even today, the 2 sections are different. One who goes to Darul Uloom has nothing to do with secular education. And the one who goes for secular education has nothing to do with religious education. If you go here, then you become Hafiz, Alim, graduate, 10 years, 12 years, and then you go Deen Khidmat, become an Imam and do something. If you go that side, you study, you have a degree, and you earn money, and that's your field. But our Hazrat saw over here that we need to merge both. So in 1978, our Hazrat in Darul Uloom Bari started school. In fact, Hazrat said on one occasion that this is the first time I had to go against the mashwara of Hazrat Sheikh. Because I asked Hazrat Sheikh, should we start school over here? Hazrat Sheikh said, no, it should be only religious. But then those who were over here, Dr. Shahiruddin Alvi Saab and others, they said, no, you must start school. Otherwise, madrasa can't progress. So Hazrat said, I had to go by the mashwara of the locals. And I had to start the school system as well. So in the morning, we had our madrasa system from 8:45 to 12:15, then lunch. And then after that, from 1:30 till 4 o'clock, we had our school. So Hazrat made bandobast for both, alhamdulillah. And over here, Hazrat, over there, Maulana Ghulam Sahab, with his wisdom, also started this, and he merged. And slowly, he took his madrasa forward. At this moment, there are 15,000 students studying in his Jamya. And then he constructed, the nursery, primary, secondary school, and going up to BA, diploma, college, engineering, pharmacy, medical college, and also IT and software development and tailoring. And his maqsad and aim was that every student should be at the top in deen, religion, and in secular education, dunya, and in muasharati, zimmedari, and he should have some skill and profession. Because not every student has the ability to become Sheikhul Hadith and Mufti. People have different abilities, so they can gather deeni knowledge as well, so they can remain firm on Sirat-e-Mustaqim with their ilm, and they can also have some skill in dunya. They can progress in that field as well. Hazrat Maulana, I was listening to one of his bayans, and he said, I know English, I speak English as well. And I said, how I learned English? He said, in the Falah-e-Darain, when I used to study, our master used to come to teach us ABCD and little bit English, but intizam was there as well. But he was teaching it along with Farsi. And it was a real struggle for us because we don't know Farsi. So we have to learn Persian as well and with it English as well. So he says that Master Sahab once met my father in Talkesar market. And he said, Ismail bhai, આ તમારો પોયરો છે ને બરાબર યાદ નથી કરતો, ઇંગ્લિશ પડતો નહીં, કઈ આવડતું નહીં, એક હરફ નહીં આવડતું ઇંગ્લિશનો એને. He doesn't know one word of English. So my father said to him, Lagao ni ne maro ni barabar. Maulana Ghulam Sahib said, he didn't say teach him, he said beat him up. So wo kya tha? Next day in the lesson, master taught something and he said, Ghulam Muhammad, and I didn't know. And he started beating me up properly. I said, why are you beating me? He said, your dad told me to beat you up. So, okay, I will learn properly. Hazrat Maulana said, then I learned and I picked up Persian as well and English as well. But more practice, he said, first time when I went to South Africa for Chanda, Haji, I think Musa Patel or Yusuf Patel, he used to take me around in his car and he used to teach me English. Whilst we are driving, he would say, you should speak like this, you should say this. If someone gives you Chanda, then you must say, may Allah give you reward. So I learned that, may Allah give you reward, may Allah give you reward. And slowly I learned some sentences. I knew the ABCD, I learned some sentences. And Alhamdulillah, at the end of my month-long journey, I did one bayan for 12 minutes in English. So Hazrat Maulana said to the students that you are students here, you don't know English, but you can learn it. And he was talking to the students who were in that field of English. So Hazrat Maulana, Allah Pak had blessed him, and he had a very smiling face and good sense of humor, and that's what attracted people towards him. You would always see him smiling. With seniors, he would be like a senior ulama, he would be like an alim, and with youngsters, he would be like a young man. With kids, he would become a kid, and he would play around with them like a child. And this was the khubi of Hazrat Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that when he would be passing by kids, he would do salam to them. It's in the hadith of Sahih Bukhari. Hazrat Maulana, had this fikr of Hazrat Maulana Siddiq Ahmad Sahib Bandhvi Rahmatullah. Because after Hazrat Sheikh died in 82, he did ruju towards Maulana Siddiq Sahib Bandhvi, who was Khalifa of Nazim Sahib. You know Nazim Sahib, who used to go to do malish, who did his sifarish to Sheikh. Maulana Siddiq Sahib was Khalifa of Hazrat Nazim Sahib. So he stayed with Hazrat Nazim Sahib. He used to go and stay in his company, call him over to Akkal Kuwa. And Maulana Siddiq Sahib's, advisors and had a lot of effect on him. And Hazrat Maulana Siddiq Bandhvi Sahib gave him Khilafat as well. And later on, after Maulana Siddiq Bandhvi passed away, Hazrat Sheikh Yunus Sahib, and he also gave him Khilafat. Now, when Maulana Ghulam Sahib was in Kandharia, one of his students, Maulana Qasim Sahib, was in Dewsbury, Imam there in Zakaria Masjid, he mentioned in his clip that he's my ustad, I studied with him, and I had to make his tea and make his breakfast for him. And in the breakfast, he would have just one egg, ek anda, or bas usi par unka breakfast hota. So he said, I used to make it after Fajr. So once before Fajr, I had woken up early, I came. So I went into the masjid and I saw someone crying. So I said, who's this? Where is this crying noise come from? So I went forward in the masjid and it was Maulana Ghulam Sahib. And he was crying, and he is just, he's just graduated. And he is just appointed as a mudarris. Even Dhari ka baal bhi abhi nahi nikla tha Hazrat ka. He didn't have a beard, a hair on his beard. He was beardless at that time. But he was crying. He was saying, Allah, mujhse deen ka kaam le le. Allah, mujhse deen ki khidmat le le. Allah, mujhse deen ka kaam le le. Allah, take the work of deen from me. Allah, take deen ki khidmat from me. He said he was crying there and making dua for half an hour. I sat there waiting. I couldn't take it more, so I just left. Now imagine, he's got that fikr, worry of khidmat of deen. Today, graduates, they come to us and say, Maulana, make dua for me that Allah takes khidmat of deen me, I'm going to graduating. Tu dua karni? Mere paas kyun dua karata hai? Tu jani Allah ke samne roni? You should make dua yourself. Why are you putting everything on me that I make dua for you? Maulana Ghulam Sahib, he was making dua himself, crying, tahajjud time, half an hour. And where did he learn this crying from? From his father. Because his father used to cry at night in tahajjud. And he learned it from there. And then Maulana Siddiq Bandhvi Sahib. And I saw this myself. We were in Canada at the groundbreaking ceremony of Masjid Abu Bakr. Hazrat Maulana Ghulam Sahib was there as well. And we were living in the same house. Maulana Zulfiqar Sahib was there. Maulana Abdul Majid Nadeem Sahib was there. Maulana Ghulam Sahib was there. So we were used to stay upstairs, and niche people in the sitting room, whenever people come. So Maulana Ghulam Sahib, lots of people come to meet him. Everybody jamgata around him. Bichari has to meet everyone. हम तो ऊपर चले जाएं, सो जाएं, लेकिन मौलाना साहब is busy till late 12 o'clock, half 12, and then he rests for a bit, and then 2:30 he's up, and from his room the voice of Quran, tilawat and crying is coming. I would wake up and say, he was awake till late. I would be gay. And at tahajjud time, this is the khubi and beauty of our mashayikh, that they cry their eyes out in front of Allah at tahajjud time. This tahajjud, sahar gahi, is what made them who they were. They were crying, they would cry their eyes out in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hazrat Maulana would make du'as. Then Hazrat Maulana took over the fikr of Hazrat Siddiq Bandhvi Rahmatullah alayhi. Hazrat Siddiq Bandhvi Rahmatullah alayhi had two fikrs. One fikr was that Quran ki sahi ta'aleem aur ye ki usko kasrat se padha jaye. Quran should be taught properly with tajweed and it should be recited as much as possible. So this was Hazrat's fikr. And Hazrat Maulana Siddiq Sahib himself established Darul Uloom in Hathoda, Banda, where irtidad was taking place. People were becoming murtad, and Hazrat saved their iman. So it was his fikr. Maulana Sahib learned this from him. And secondly, he wanted to have madaris all over India, all over the country, everywhere, in every town, there should be makatib of Quraniya. Maulana Ghulam Sahib took over this fikr. He established in Darul Uloom Tajweed Asatiza, and every student read Quran with beautiful Tajweed. And he used to keep Musabaqa of Quran, Hifz. Today I was listening to one clip, and he said that in Musabaqa, they used to see that in Nazara classes, whichever student completes Nazara quickly and is able to do Hafiz, they would give him challenge. That, you do Hafiz, go in Hafiz class, finish your Hafiz. If you finish your Hafiz quickly, within a year, we'll give you inam 10,000 rupees. So he said, this student, usko khada kiya, कि इसने 100 दिन में कुरान पूरा याद कर लिया. 100 days. In 100 days, he memorized the whole Quran. And we've given him 10,000 rupees. Some sheikh from Kuwait came, he gave him 10,000 rupees. Another mehman from USA had come, he gave him $100. That's about 8,500 rupees. And the guy is rich, the young man. And then another person said, I will give him a ticket for Umrah, so he can go for Umrah as well. And he said that he used to memorize 1/4 juz daily. And he wouldn't eat, sleep, drink, always reading Quran. Ustad says sometimes we give him a biscuit, and next day the biscuit would be in his pocket. We say, we didn't eat it. He said, I didn't get time to eat the biscuit. This is how dedicated he was to. So they give him inam. So Hazrat Maulana, number one, Hifz Quran, Tajweed, competition. And then after that, Hazrat Maulana established makatib everywhere. Hazrat Maulana, according to Sheikh Hanif Saab's bayan, and Mufti Hafiz Shafi yesterday corrected me, 128 Darul Ulooms. In some Darul Uloom, there are 700 students, some 500 students, some 1,000 students. And he established 2,200 maktabs. And he had constructed under his guidance, how many masajid? 7,000 masajid. And these maktabs which Hazrat had established are, all over India. I'm looking at this, 1,690 maktabs in Maharashtra, 125 in Gujarat, 31 in Rajasthan, 53 in Madhya Pradesh, and 14 in Chhattisgarh, 18 in Andhra Pradesh, 17 in Karnataka, 16 in Nepal, 111 in West Bengal, 18 in Bihar, 4 in Assam, 90 in Jammu Kashmir, 27 in Punjab. Everywhere, पूरे मुल्क में मकातिब का जाल बिछा दिया. और इस वक्त हजरत मौलाना के मदारिस में टोटल मकतब 2,221. And you know how many students at present in all these establishments? 142,414 students studying in all these makatib. And then the list goes on, is just never ending. And all this is sadqa jariyah for Hazrat. Now, Hazrat was an amazing personality. Hazrat Maulana Shafi Sahib, Hafiz Shafi Sahib was mentioning yesterday that he had the need to construct some medical college, and he needed 2 crore rupees for that. He didn't have any money. He called the contractor and he said to him, look, you have to make medical college over here. It's 2 crores cost. I don't have any money. If you can start work, start. When money comes, I'll give you. So he started the work and he kept on. Now the work was nearly completing and he needed that 2 crore money, but he was shy to ask Maulana Ghulam Sahib. So he said, this person comes to me and he said, oi, you're making this college for Hazrat Maulana? I said, yes. How much has it cost? He said, 2 crores. Has he paid you? He said, no. Well, here, come tomorrow and take 2 crores from me. Don't tell Maulana Sahib. तो ऐसे वो असल में जब अल्लाह किसी से काम लेना चाहते हैं तो गैब से असबाब पैदा कर देते हैं. अल्लाह पाक ने वो अल्लाह पाक when he wants to take some work वो कुलूब को मुसख्खर कर देते हैं उनके लिए. तो हजरत मौलाना को अल्लाह ने ऐसे ही किया था. खिदमत कुरान बेहतरीन निजाम and Hazrat Maulana's being rukne shura. अच्छा, along with this dini talim, dunyavi talim, medical college. On one instance, all the complex and everything, it went into 400 crore. Wages. And today I was listening and said that monthly, the cost for laundrette, washing clothes of the students was 250,000 rupees. He said students should study with ease and we will provide the laundry for them as well. So every class, weekly, their clothes are taken, washed and returned to them. And that cost was 250,000 rupees. Now, for the medical college, university, Tibbiya college, Hikmat, and pharmacy, and all these education and everything, 400 crores. And Hazrat said, I was makruz. At the moment he came and he said to Mufti Huzaifa Qasimi Sahib, कि इस वक्त मैं मखरूज हूँ, I am in qarza, in debt, and I need to pay this off. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides. Allah used to provide for him. Maulana did this khidmat and mashallah he spread it out. And Maulana Qasim Sahib also mentioned that once I myself saw this dream that there are lots of people going somewhere. So I said, where are you guys going? He said, to get some milk. What do you mean milk? You don't have any milk in your homes? He said, no, milk is being distributed there. We are going to get our share. So I said, who is distributing that milk? I couldn't see the person. So I climbed on some hill or something, and as far I see that is Maulana Ghulam Vastanvi sir. And there's a well full of milk, and he's drawing milk with the bucket, and he's giving it to people. He said, I mentioned this dream to Maulana Ajmeri sahib, Maulana Raza Ajmeri sahib. And he was my ustad, and he said, Maulana Ghulam Sahib si Allah Pak ilme deen ka kaam lenge. This was right at the beginning. And also, one Buzurug saw, Hazrat Maulana was, diabetic, heavy diabetic. His kidney had failed as well, and he had other complications for last few months or years. Bichara, he was in and out of hospital. At the end, he was in ICU. And even when Hazrat came here, he used to take that insulin injection. His son Maulana Uwais was with him. He used to give him that injection. I saw him Masjid Ali after his bayan when we sat down to eat. He said, Papa, 1 minute injection. He brought the injection, took the injection, and then he ate food. He came to FLC as well. He gave a very nice bayan among our senior students, and he said, you guys are very fortunate that you've got this facility to study hard and become good alim. He gave them very nice advice. So, Hazrat, was very ill, and on Sunday, the 4th, Maulana Huzaifa Sahib says that we were all around him, were reading Quran Sharif. Even in that state, he used to love listening to Quran. He used to call boys and still listen to their Quran. And he would pray namaz on the bistara with ishara. So he said, we were reading Quran, And I was reading in fi khalqis samawati wal ardi wa ikhtilafil layli wan nahari la ayatin li ulil albab, this ruku, last ruku of Surah Al-Imran. And as I finished the ruku, the doctor nudged me and he said his soul has departed. And we didn't even feel it. He didn't even blink. He didn't feel any pain. It looks like, the hadith says, बाज मर्तबा मोमिन की रूह ऐसे निकाल ली जाती है जैसे गूंदे हुए आटे में से बाल को निकालते हैं. Like you pull a hair out of the kneaded dough, it's so smoothly pulled out, you can't even feel it. So sometimes a momin's ruh is extracted in this manner. So Hazrat Maulana passed away, peaceful death. And one of the mashayikh says, I was sleeping, it was Qailula time, and I saw a dream that the gates of the heaven opened up and a huge amount of, hundreds of thousands of malaika coming down with white clothes and white imama. So I was shocked. Why are all these malaika coming down? And I woke up, and as I got hold of my mobile and opened it, I saw the sad news that Hazrat Maulana Ghulam Sahib has passed away. I said, oh, this is why the malaika were coming down. And this is إن الذين قالوا ربنا الله ثم استقاموا تتنزل عليهم الملائكة ألا تخافوا ولا تحزنوا وأبشروا بالجنة التي كنتم توعدون نحن أولياؤكم في الحياة الدنيا وفي الآخرة ولكم فيها ما تشتهي أنفسكم ولكم فيها ما تدعون نزلا من غفور رحيم. Those who say ربنا الله and then remain mustaqim, the malaika come down and they give the good news. لا تخافوا ولا تحزنوا. Don't fear, don't be sad, don't grieve. Abshiru, take good news of Jannat which was promised to you. Hazrat Shaykh Rahmatullah is narrated in Maut Ki Yaad, Fazail Sadqat, remembrance of death. When a good person is dying, Malakul Maut comes with a protocol of 500 angels, and they all have a bouquet of flower in their hands, and every flower has a different beautiful color and a different scent and fragrance, and they surround him, and he sees Malakul Maut and he sees all those angels, and Malakul Maut is gentle with him. He shows him his Jannat, where he's going to go and everything that is waiting for him, and his ruh starts fluttering in the body like a bird in the cage, ready to come out of that cave as soon as the gate is opened. He knows that it's going to open now. So his ruh starts fluttering, and then Malakul Maut extracts it and instantly whisks away, and he doesn't even feel the ruh coming out. So this is the basharat which is given to Ahlullah at the time of their death. Hazrat Maulana Ghulam Muhammad Vastanvi Sahib Rahmatullah alayhi was a great personality, did so much khidmat. Imagine 144,000 students studying now, and all that sawab is going to his grave because it's sadaqah jariyah for him. So the lesson to learn from his life is, number one, to cry in front of Allah, beg Allah to help you in dini work, and number two, to be brave, work hard, don't be a coward. Oh, what is going to happen? You carry on the legacy of our akabir. And number three, work tirelessly. Don't be lazy. People sometimes lax out, lazy. No, laziness is not an option. You have to work hard, be strong, be brave, and take the necessary steps and ask Allah for help. Allah will provide. Allah will give you maqbuliyat, mahbubiyat, and Allah will provide for you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shower immense rahmah and mercy upon the grave of Hazrat Maulana Ghulam Muhammad Sahib, elevate his ranks in Jannat. May Allah give sabr jameel to all his family and to all at the institute in Jamya Ishaatul Ulum Akkal Kuwa, to Maulana Huzaifa Sahib, Maulana Uwais Sahib, their mother and their siblings, their sisters, and all the asatiza, teachers and students at the Darul Ulum, at the medical college, and all the universities which he has established, and all the makatib which he has established. May Allah give sabr jameel to all the Muslims around the world, and may Allah give a worthy replacement for Hazrat Maulana Ghulam Sahib. They today put the pagdi on Maulana Huzaifa Sahib's head and made him his deputy and successor, and he will hopefully take the madrasa forward from strength to strength. We need to do some isale sawab for him. Yesterday we requested people to give 10 pounds sadaqah on his behalf. Today as well, I'm going to make the same request. If it is possible, when you go out, भाई पीछे एक डब्बा रख देना, हजरत मौलाना के लिए थोड़ा सदका 10, 20, 50 पाउंड जितना आप दे सके दे देना, वो गज्जा में हम भेज देंगे. वो गज्जा का डिब्बा रखा हुआ है ना जहीर भाई, वो रख देना, उसमें सदका कलेक्ट कर लें और भेज दें. इशारे सवाब नियत करें हजरत मौलाना के लिए. अल्लाह हमें तौफीक दे, कबूल फरमाए. जज़ाकुमुल्लाह व आखिरु दावाना अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन. सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम अला सय्यिदिना मुहम्मद व आलिहि व सहबिहि अजमईन.